It's June, which means it's time to take a look at all the new May items, so let's start with a few that were sent in. First up are these two sets out of Kazakhstan. The first being an older design based on the US 6-color desert, which originally was used by forces in Iraq in the early 2000s, but can now be seen sporadically for various purposes today. And a newer woodland digital pattern which appears to be a copy of Hypersouth's US forces used by border guard forces since 2013. The two sets are a great example of how camouflage has evolved in only a few years' time. Thank you, Benjamin, for tracking these down. Next up are a few peculiar US pieces sent in by Mario which aren't as commonly seen but were certainly frequently used. They're an older US sleeping shirt and sleeping bag hood. Oftentimes we think about uniforms being for daily use, but not often for nightly. Additionally, they came with a US Woodland protective bag which appears somewhat small but was used to carry a full NBC suit and was utilized during Operation Desert Storm during the first Gulf War. Thank you again for them, as well as the note. Last but certainly not least comes this wide assortment of East Asian pieces by Tung & Co. They include a huge assortment of both new and old Vietnamese patterns, with some dating back decades and others only a few years, along with a large assortment of South Korean patterns ranging from older Marine Corps designs to numerous woodland variations and even a Nepalese piece. Here they all are in one shot, as it would take a long time to highlight every piece individually, but regardless, they all help to round out collections already in progress. Many thanks again for hunting these down. And finally, to finish things off, are three items from Iran, the US, and the Soviet Union. On the left is a pattern that perhaps takes the cake for one of the more rare patterns in the collection, as it's worn by guards of nuclear facilities within the country, with shapes that look almost atomic in nature. As of late, it seems Iranian pieces are slowly becoming a tad bit easier to source, but compared to most other nations, are still a task to track down. As far as quality goes, this one does appear to be put together rather well, with really the only iffy thing about it being some of the stitch lines. Right next to it is an older US M79 grenade vest, used to carry 40mm grenades, first introduced in the late 1960s. These aren't very hard to find and are rather cheap, with this one actually being for a project related to a future video. Finally is a Soviet Army M88 Afghanka uniform in fantastic condition, which was picked up at the Brimfield Flea Market for the low price of $15. It couldn't be passed up. But that will do it for the month of May in 2023. Many thanks to everyone who sent in or offered pieces. They are very much appreciated and will help with future topics. As always, be sure to check back next month for the next acquisition video. See you all then.